Hey there, welcome back to my channel, Learn with Noreen. Today we're gonna study phrasal verb. Yes, you got me right. We will discuss 12 important and interesting phrasal verbs for daily conversation, which will make you sound smart and professional. Before going to get into the lesson, please take a pen and paper so that you can take notes if you need, because I'm gonna share some important tips at the end of the lesson, which will be really helpful to make you flawless whenever you will use the phrasal verbs in your conversation or in written conversation. Let's get straight to the lesson. Teacher, what's a phrasal verb? Yes, before getting into the lesson, let me just talk a few words about the phrasal verb for those who have a question about what's a phrasal verb. A phrasal verb is an idiomatic phrase consisting of a verb and another element. Whoa, wait. Don't get confused about that. This another element is typically either an adverb, as in break down, or a preposition, as in get in. Or sometimes it can be in the combination of both the preposition and the adverb. That is, such as look down on. Typically, their meaning is not obvious from the meaning of the individual words themselves. That means, in a phrasal verb, if you find something, that it doesn't mean that it is directly related to the verb itself. For example, we see a sentence, she has always looked down on me. In this example, the phrasal verb to look down on someone doesn't mean that you were looking down from a higher place at someone who is below you. Rather, it means that you think that you are better than someone. And remember that phrasal verbs are often used in a casual situation. There may have some formal alternatives for some of the phrasal verbs. Generally, phrasal verbs are informal ways of expressing ideas in English, which means they are used every day and they are really common in conversation. As a result, they are extremely useful to learn and practice. And one more thing, a phrasal verb can have multiple meaning depending on the context and situation. You will know them gradually by practicing day by day. Today, I'm going to show you some of them. First of all, we have stand down. To stand down means to resign or withdraw from an important job or position, especially in favor of another or according to the employer's demand. If someone stands down, they resign from an important job or position, often in order to let someone else take their place. Or probably it is the demand of the employers. For example, he got stood down of his job as COVID impact on economy. Profits plunged and he stood down as chairman last January. Secondly, we have hop on. To hop onto something means to get or climb onto something or to board something. The synonymous phrasal verbs for hop on are climb on, get on, and jump on. For example, we can say, I hopped on my bike and took off for the park. I really like to hop on a bus. Sometimes hop on means to jump or get into something that is moving. Sometimes you have to hop onto a bus, or sometimes you may have to hop onto a cable car after it has started to move. I ran to the cable car and hopped on. I sometimes have to hop on the bus if I am getting late. Next comes hop off. That is, from the word we can understand that it's quite opposite to the hop on. So hop off means to get off something, especially from a vehicle. Like we have to hop off, that means get out of a bus or get out of our bike or something like that. I hopped off my bike and chained it to a post. You can hop off the subway at the next stop. I'll meet you there. Those who have the experience to travel abroad, you may have encountered hop on hop off tour services. Generally, in the tourist cities, we see hop on hop off tour services or bus services, especially coined for the city tour or sightseeing. It's quite common in London, Rome, San Francisco, Paris, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, and capital cities like that. For example, we can say, the hop and hop of cruises are set to sail around the Mediterranean and then later the Caribbean as the business expands. When you visit London, don't forget to book hop and hop of bus tours at low price with the help of local experts. Then comes take after. To take after someone means to resemble someone in appearance or in habit. This phrasal verb is used when you want to say that someone looks like or resembles an older member of the family. Usually, it can be their mother, father, or grandparents. For example, we can say, she is very pretty. She definitely takes after her mother. Or we often ask people by saying that, do you take after your mother or your father? And then, take after has another meaning, that is to follow someone as an example, or the take after means it can also mean to follow someone as an example. Again, you are following a characteristics or a trait of a person, you are copying their habits. Sometimes we may have to say people that don't take after your brother, you will just end up in jail like him. I hope she takes after her aunt and begins volunteering abroad. Then comes brush up, which means to practice and review your knowledge or a skill that you haven't used in a while. To brush up means to quickly improve a skill, especially when you have not used it for a long time. For example, you can say, I must brush up on my Spanish before I go to Seville. People often get confused brush up with the phrasal verb brush off. Brush up and brush off has different meanings. Brush off means to remove something like dust particles or insect from with your hands from your body, from your shoulder, or wherever else. For example, you can say, I brushed a little dust off her shoulder. Sometimes brush off has different meanings, like to ignore someone, or to refuse to talk, or to be nice to someone or something. We can say, she brushed him off, saying she was too busy to talk to him now. Next comes boil down to. Although we know that boiling is related to cooking, but this boil down to, this phrasal verb has a totally different meaning with that. Normally we know that boil down or boil something down, that means to be reduced or to reduce something but by boiling. However, the phrasal verb boil down to something means to have determined or analyzed the solution or reason for something, or to make something, especially information, shorter by leaving out the parts that are not that much important. We can say, the original speech I had written got boiled down to about 10 minutes. Another interesting phrasal verb is jump in. So this jump in doesn't have anything to do with the literal jumping or to jump somewhere. It means to interrupt a conversation in an awkward manner. That means if you jump in, that means you are interrupting a people's conversation in an awkward manner. That means you were not supposed to say anything at that conversation. We can say, for example, before she could reply, Peter jumped in with an objection. Then the final one is shut down. Yes, we are getting to shut down very soon. But before that, know a different meaning of the shutdown. Normally, shutdown means to stop a factory or any shop or any business from opening for business. Or sometimes we may use a shutdown to stop a machine from working. And most of the time we use it with a computer. We can say that we shut down a computer when we don't work with it. However, the phrasal verb shut down has another meaning which is related to conversation. Shut down means to stop someone in the middle of a conversation or in a meeting. That means to interrupt in a rude way. If you shut down a person while he or she is talking about something important, you stop him or her in the middle of her conversation. So we can say that my colleague didn't like my new idea. She shut me down straight away. My teacher shut me down halfway through my presentation. Whoa, wait, don't go just now. Here is a quick tip for you guys. It's very important. Just have them. Whenever you learn a new phrasal verb, try to know if it is separable or inseparable, and whether it is transitive or intransitive, because it's very important to note these things if you want to be a flawless speaker whenever you use a phrasal verb. Let's go back to our lesson to find some examples and you will know. For instance, takes after. This phrasal verb is both transitive and inseparable. It is transitive because it takes a direct object after it. If you don't add a direct object after this phrasal verb takes after, the meaning of the sentence will be incomplete. So, for example, we can say, you take after your mother. And here, if you don't add your mother, it will be incomplete. And again, this phrasal verb is inseparable because you cannot separate the verb and the adverb here. That means you cannot separate the particles, or you cannot add anything extra in the middle of them. If you write, she looks her brother after, it will be wrong. You must write, she looks after her brother. Let's look another example. My brother shuts me down halfway through my presentation, or my teacher shuts me down halfway through my presentation. Here, shut down is, we can see that it is separable, and again it is intransitive. We can add other elements in the middle of the particles here, and thus we can separate them. It is intransitive because we don't always need to add an object to fulfill the meaningful sentence. So that's all for today. If you want to know more about the rules of the phrasal verb, let me know in the comment section. I will make another lesson regarding that. Till then, stay tuned. Bye-bye.